Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Paula Huhn. Welcome to my webinar. In this webinar, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about time management. Okay. How many times have you sat there and said, I don't have time to do cold calls? I don't have time to call my past clients. I don't have time to record my past clients or to track where my business comes from. Or I don't have time to do these business generating tasks that I know will move my business forward. We all have. Number one, yes, I've used those excuses. What I've done through years of coaching, various different places, is I've taken all the things I've learned and I've created this webinar. And it's a really great webinar. I love doing it. It's one of my favorite things to talk about because in this webinar, what I do is, again, I take all the great bits and pieces of the things that I was taught and teach it to you on how to practically do your time management. And it's a great refresher for me because guess what? I'm not a 10. On a scale of 1 to 10, as far as my time management goes, I'm not at a 10. I'm probably at a 5. Okay. And during the summer months, I'll be honest, I was probably running around a 4 or a 3. Okay. When it comes to actually doing the things I knew I had to do and getting them done. Okay. Following my action items that I knew I had to do. And it got me thinking, why? So I want to do this training to refresh the tasks for me and the knowledge for me, but also to teach other people the beauty of taking control back. Because I'm telling you, you improve by just 1%. Okay. You think about where you're at right now on a scale of 1 to 10. If you can improve yourself 1%, that is a huge improvement for your business. I am not lying. Okay. It's about managing yourself, right? Time management is about managing yourself, which will give you the confidence that springboards so many more great things that happen with your business. Okay. So just increasing 1% and getting that 1% better over time does huge improvements to your business. Okay. So that's where we're at today. Mastering your minutes, transformative time management for modern professionals. So let's go on this journey with me. All right. So here's the hidden truth about your time, right? So here's the challenge. Most professionals believe they accurately understand how they spend their time, right? Most people say, I know what I do every single day. I know exactly what I spend every minute of my time on. And the research shows that 80% of those people, which is pretty much everybody, 80% of the population that goes, I know exactly what I do every single day. They're wrong by more than 30%, right? So the things you think you're doing, you're wrong by 30%. You think you know what you're doing, but until you start tracking it, that's the solution. Tracking literally everything you do in a day and how long it takes you to do it and what interruptions you get when and where and how, you're never gonna be able to fix the things you want fixed, to change the habits you want changed, and to add the things you want to add. Okay. Tracking everything you do takes at least minimum 1 week. All the experts, right? My coaches, my trainers, they usually say 2 weeks. Track what you do every minute, every day, everything you do. Track it for 2 weeks. Okay. It's really hard. It's really hard. I don't think I ever got past like 4 days, if I'm being honest. Okay. But I know from the research and what the coaches say that if I could do at least a week, because I know during the 4 days, I got a better inkling of when I got distracted or I got interrupted, or I have a better idea of what time I break down my day, like when my day breaks down into nothing. And you're then able to fix it. For example, by tracking my days, I realized that when my kids come home from school and I'm working from home, I can't focus. So that was last year was about 3:30. So from 3:30 in the afternoon till about 5, I couldn't focus. I had to ask questions. They were trying to do something they weren't supposed to do. They were asking me questions. I was hearing them. I was in mom mode at that point. So I knew I had to change that habit. So I had a couple options. I could either leave and go someplace else before they got home, which I have older kids, so I'm able to do, or I could just stop working. eh, Bear with me. I know 9 to 5 is ingrained in our brain, but just hear me out. I could not work from 3:30 to 5, literally close my laptop, walk away for an hour and a half, handle my business with my kids, have a better relationship with my kids because now I'm not screaming at them because I'm trying to do 8 things at once. And then at 5 o'clock, when my husband came home and he can then handle them, close my office doors, and then focus for an hour and a half. And funny enough, usually the stuff I had to do in that last hour and a half only then took me 45 minutes. Okay. That's the type of solution and real life impact tracking what happens in your day can do to help your business and help yourself. This isn't just for business. This is for your life. This is for you to set your boundaries, healthy boundaries, to get your mental health back, to focus on you, which is also your business. Okay. So you can't improve what you don't measure. And time tracking reveals hidden patterns, productivity leaks, and recoverable hours you never knew existed. Okay, you're not just collecting data, you're discovering your reality. And until you're willing to see that reality, you'll never know. Okay. And guess what? Some of you watching this, some of you here, you don't want to know your reality. You don't want to know how much time you spend scrolling on Facebook thinking you're researching. You don't. But you track it just like when you're tracking food and you're on a diet. Track your food, track what you eat. You're less likely to waste the calories. You're less likely to waste the time if you're tracking it. Okay? The gap between what you think you do and what you actually do is where your transformation begins. Okay? So your first task is going to be to track all your tasks for at least a week, preferably 2 weeks. Okay, now how do you do this? There's a ton of things out there to do it with, right? Use a digital tracker. There's something called Toggle, Rescue Time, or guess what? A simple notebook, right? Print out a piece of paper, write it on a piece of scrap paper. When did you sit down? When did you wake up? How long did it take you to get ready? When did you have to take the kids to daycare? All that time matters, right? Write it down. When you and it's a matter of just looking at your time. Here's when I started. Here's when I ended. Okay. And writing it down. Keep it with you. Create categories, right? Then categorize that stuff. At the end of you don't have to do it right away, but at the end of the day, take a look at your list of what you have done and categorize it. This is work. This is personal. This is kids. This is husband. This is household. This is email. This is admin. These are meetings. This is personal. All that stuff, right? This is business acquisition. This is admin stuff. That understanding what is going to help you in the next couple slides that I'm going to show you. So it's also important to track what you do, how long it takes you to do it, and what type of task it is. Is it business generating activities? Is it admin? Is it the supportive work for your job? Okay. It's all important. Note the start and stop times. Include your interruptions and transitions. Okay. What is a transition? And transition is this. All right. I'm going to get a cup of coffee before my meeting. That's a transition. Or I got to make phone calls. I'm going to get a cup of coffee first. Write that down. What time did you get up? What time did you come back to the desk? Interruptions. Someone comes in and asks for a quick minute. Hey, do you got a minute? A phone call. Someone called, a client calls you, and you take it right then and there. When did they call you? When did you get off the phone? Okay. Those are yes, those are interruptions. They're good interruptions because it's a client, but it's still an interruption from what you were already working on. It takes away your focus, which we're going to talk about in a second. Then you're going to review this at the end of the week and identify your patterns. Just like I did when I realized I sucked from 3:30 to 5, I couldn't focus on anything work related. You'll identify those patterns and when things happen. That's going to help you create the solution. Okay. The solution can't be, oh, that's just my life. No, figure out what the best solution is. Okay. It could be, I got to stop work at 3 o'clock. Maybe you have other things throughout the night. So start work early, right? Do some of your admin stuff in the morning before you get disrupted. Okay. And then be done everything you need to get done before that time. So there's a lot of solutions out there. So the average professional loses 2.1 hours daily to distractions and low value activities that could either be eliminated or delegated. So now we get to my favorite thing in the world. This is the focus funnel. Okay. This is from a book called Procrastinate on Purpose by Rory Vader. And that book is absolutely life-changing in my opinion. The book talks about the importance of understanding the tasks that you're given and their importance. Okay. And what you can do. So when you get a task, this is the first thing you're going to do. You look at that task and you're going to decide, can this be eliminated? Okay. If it doesn't meaningfully contribute to your goals or values, stop doing it. I'm going to read that again. If it doesn't meaningfully contribute to your goals or values, stop doing it. Not everything deserves your attention. You don't have to do everything. If it is an email that is sent to you and you have nothing to do with it, okay, delete it. Don't worry about it. That's not for you to do. You're going to eliminate it. Okay. If it's something someone is asking you to do that you shouldn't be the one doing it at all, delete it. Say no. This is your permission to say no to things. All right. Eliminate. Automate. The next thing you're going to say is, okay, if I can't eliminate it, if I can't delete it completely, can I automate it? Is this a task I have to do over and over and over and over again? Can it be automated? Can I get a program or can I create a system that automates this process? Okay. This is your permission to invest in yourself. Okay. If you can automate this and there's a system that can do it, there's value in getting your time back by automating stuff. So creating systems, sometimes you already have the tools to do it. Leverage your tools that handle the repetitive tasks. Set it once, benefit forever. Think about the long-term time saving, right? Yes, when you buy a system, there's some setup time, right? And it might take an hour for you to set up a system or create a process to automate. But once you do, okay, let's say it saves you 5 minutes of your time by automating it, and it takes you an hour, 60 minutes to set up, but it saves you 5 minutes every time you need to do the task. Guess what? You only need that task to run 12 times before it's a time benefit. Okay? Only 12. But that is it's finding the value. That's called your time paid back. Okay? So you take the amount of time it takes to set it up, divided by how much time it's going to save you. That's how many instances you need it to run before you're actually starting to get a time surplus. So think about that. So if it's an email that you always have to, the same type of email you always have to write. In my business, it's, hey, congratulations, you're now pre-approved. Here are the next steps, blah, 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 blah. It's the same thing every single time for the most. If it takes me 5 minutes to write that email every single time, and I can automate it with a template that saves me that 5 minutes, I send 12 out and now I'm in a time surplus. I gained 5 minutes back every time I automate that. Okay. That's what we mean by automate and time saving. Okay. The next thing is delegate. This one is the hardest. Most people in sales, in business, if you own a business, if you're in sales, you have the hardest time delegating. because we are under the impression that no one does our business better than us. Maybe we're right. Maybe we're right. But in reality, this is the permission for not perfect. Okay. Because again, we go back to that time saved. If I can teach someone to do something, or if I can have someone do something else, even if it's not the same way I would do it, but the outcome is still the same or similar, I'm saving time. I'm in a time surplus, right? So you're empowering others with tasks that don't require your unique expertise. Now, for a realtor, for example, you're not going to delegate taking someone to go see a house, right? That's probably your thing that you do. Or you're not going to delegate someone going to your listing appointment. But do you have to be the one that writes up every single contract? No. You can hire a transaction coordinator to write up the contracts. If you're a lender, you can hire a loan assistant to gather documents for you, to submit the loan and get disclosures out, right? You don't have there's no specialty in that. It's clicking buttons, right? You can delegate those tasks. Leadership is multiplication, not addition. No one's giving you an award for taking the world on your shoulders. Okay, at home, okay, this is really for my ladies. Ladies, if you have a partner, delegate tasks to your partner. They're not doing the things, and they're not going to just automatically do the things if they're used to you doing it. It sucks. Yeah, we want that. But in the meantime, delegate it. Can you order the groceries? I'll go pick them up. You're delegating. And if it's not done perfectly, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. Can you load the dishwasher? If they don't load it the way you would have, but all the dishes get clean, who cares? Who cares? They don't put every dish back correctly. Who cares? It's done. It's a lot easier just to move one dish back where it belongs than having to unload a whole dishwasher and then load it back up, right? So we can use this in our personal lives as well to then save us time and mental anguish, okay, as we go. Okay. The next thing, sorry, my cat wants to be on show. The next thing is, can this be procrastinated? Can I procrastinate this task? This is really important because this is where you get you to strategize your time. So you got to think, do I have to do this task now? If I'm the only one who can do this task, does it absolutely have to get done right now? Or the other question is now the right time to do this task? Okay. I'm the only one who can do it. It has to be done by me. I can't delegate, can't automate it, can't eliminate it. Is now the best time to do this task? And does it have to be done now? A good example would be a house showing. Okay. Let's take realtors. Okay. Does the house showing have to be right now? Or maybe you know that there's going to be an open house on Saturday, and you know that you'll have a better luck of contacting that realtor if you go Saturday, because then you can have a face-to-face conversation with the listing agent and build a rapport with the listing agent if you take your client on Saturday, right? Or maybe it's the reverse. Maybe maybe your client wants to go Saturday. It's a better opportunity if you go beforehand, right? Both can be true depending on your client and depending on the situation. So again, procrastination is strategically delaying non-urgent tasks until they either become more important or they resolve themselves. That's another key thing, or resolve themselves. Because once you procrastinate a task, here's what you do. When you're ready to go and do the task, you have to start at the beginning again. Okay, you have to put it through the focus funnel once more. If you didn't do it, it goes back. Do I have to do it? Can I eliminate it? Can I automate it? Can I delegate it? Can I procrastinate it? And when you get to the point where you can't procrastinate anymore and you have to do it, now you have to concentrate. This is when it's time to act. and you give it your full, undivided attention. There is no multitasking in this world. You can't multitask. If you're multitasking, you're giving part of your concentration to something else. You are never 100% working on two things at once. You're either doing 50-50, 75-25, 90-10, whatever it is. And maybe that has worked in the past for you, but it's not full concentration. And just think to yourself, if you didn't have the podcast on in the background that you were half listening to, could you focus on the task at hand more efficiently and get it done quicker? I don't know. That's what we track, right? To find that out. Remember, half focus yields half results. Okay. Because on the second end, if you're listening to the podcast, you're not really listening to the podcast. You're only hearing whatever portion of your attention is going towards it. So if you're only paying attention to 10% of the if you're only using 10% to pay attention to the podcast, you're only hearing 10% of the podcast. What's the point? All right. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to reflect, right? Identify one task on your calendar that you can eliminate, one you can automate, one you can delegate this week. Okay. What would you use this time on your schedule for? If once you don't have to do those tasks anymore, what would you do? And then schedule that in. Okay, so that's the focus funnel. Again, as my absolute favorite thing in the world to talk about, because that ideology helps me understand my boundaries and how to set my boundaries. Okay, I hope it helps you. If you would like more information, we'll talk about that at the end. All right, the rocks. Big rocks approach. Okay, this has been done over and over again. It was a teacher at a college and did a demonstration, right? If you fill your day with all the sand and your water in your life, right? All these little things, right? These little molecules. If you fill your day, which let's say it takes in a jar, you're not going to have any room for the big rocks and the little rocks of your life. Okay, so big rocks, these are your priorities. It's the money producing activities. These are activities that you know is going to get you a lead. These are activities that are going to make you money. Okay, it's revenue generated work. It could even be family time. It could be your son's baseball game. It could be your daughter's swim meet. It could be things you want to do. It could be time off to go to the zoo to see the new baby turtles. Okay. And that's important. It's a big rock. You're creating memories. Okay. Can't be moved. Once you set it, it can't be moved. Big rocks are also those meetings. Okay. The meetings that you have that are weekly or bi-weekly, like networking events, things that are set it and forget, like things that are set and you can't move them, right? I can't move my BNI meeting. I have a BNI meeting every week. I can't change it and I have to be there. One, I'm the president. Two, it's important. It's networking. It's business generating activity. So I'm going to schedule my appointments around that because that's important for me to get new business. Okay. Pebbles or little rocks. Little rocks or pebbles support your big rocks. Okay. They're secondary tasks. That could be things that you can move. So if you're having a team meeting with your team and normally it's on Tuesday, if you need to rearrange it, you can. Or if you're on a group meeting, do you always have to be on the group meeting? Meetings that aren't 100% important. Or maybe you find them to be important. They're going to be big rocks to you, okay? Keep in mind, this is all personal preference. Very important to understand that. Just because I'm giving an example of one type of thing, you may identify it as something different. That is okay. Your structuring is your structure. Okay. As long as you have different levels in your day. Okay. That's the biggest takeaway. Whatever you call a big rock is a big rock, but not everything can be a big rock. It's just not. Okay. So make sure you delegate some of these tasks as pebbles, some sand, which would be your busy work, and your water. Your waters are those little extra things. It's the social media scrolling. It's the casual browsing. It's those little things that you just take a break maybe I take a mental break. It's fine. Schedule that in, right? But that's going to be the last thing you schedule in. The first thing you're going to schedule on your calendar are all the things that are money producing activities, important family time, important meetings. They go in first. Then it's your pebbles. Then you have enough room for some of the sand. You just fill in the in betweens. And then it's your water. Okay. Here's the key principle. If you don't schedule your priorities, someone else is going to fill your calendar with theirs. How many times, this is where we get to the whole point of you don't feel in control of your day, or you don't feel in control of your calendar or your own business. Okay. I deal with a lot of realtors. I talk to a lot of loan officers, and many of them say, I don't feel in control. I can't afford to schedule time to make phone calls because what if I get a phone call from a client? What if a realtor calls me? What if a client calls me and wants me to do a listing? What if? What would you do? Some people, if someone is calling them during their time that they're doing their business generation, they call them after. And here's something I want you to think of. If someone can't wait an hour or two for you to return their call, did you want that business? And I don't want you to think about how you spy. I want you to think in general. Is that a person you would want to work with? Because it's your business. Okay. And I know sometimes we get desperate and we want all the business, and every lead that we lose is painful. I get that. But think about if that person doesn't have the patience to wait an hour or half hour or 10 minutes or 2 hours for you to respond back on your time, what do you think they're going to do throughout the entire process of the sale? If you don't set that boundary, what do you think is going to happen? They're going to call at 10 o'clock at night. They're going to expect you to be around at their beck and call all the time. Okay. I want you to think about that. And you need to think, is that business worth it? I'm not saying don't take that phone call at 11 o'clock at night, but do it on your time. Do it because you told the client. I've told clients that I know that are very filled with anxiety. I tell them, look, it's more important you call me, get the question answered really quick, 11 o'clock, whatever, shoot me a text. It's more important you get the question out, you'll feel better than an immediate answer. I'm cool with that. Just know I may or may not be able to answer at the time. And I always answer the phone. I always text, but I let them know, look, I want you to do that. But for a client to assume I'm going to be available at 11 o'clock at night, no, I'm not. I'm not going to, you can't just assume I'm going to be there. Okay. Because I have to sleep. You have to sleep. But again, you set your own boundaries. The point of that is setting your own boundaries so that you can have control. Okay. Yes, emergencies happen, but you can't plan for emergencies. That's why they are emergencies. Situations are going to come up all the time. No, you can't plan for situations, but you deal with them. You deal with the situation and then you move on. If you're taking control of your day, taking control of your time, a situation should not derail your entire week. Okay, one situation might derail you an hour or two of your day. You can get that back. You just regroup. Okay, a situation that should never take away your entire day of doing business. It's just a situation. Fix it. Fix it and move on. Okay. Now around implementing these time blocks, right? How do we do it? How do we actually take account for everything? Start with your core hours. Okay. Identify your peak productivity window, right? When do you feel energized to make phone calls? Okay. For me, the earlier the better. The more I need to get them done and out of the way. So that's where you're at your focus is at the highest and your energy levels at the highest. You might be the opposite of me. It's okay. Everyone should be different because everyone calendar and everyone's business is different. So you start with your core hours. Okay. You block it off on your calendar. I color code mine. So my business generating activities, I color green for money. Okay. And so I put them all in my calendar first. And those are going to be my time blocks. I do 5 activities, my core activities every single day. So I schedule time for that. And I schedule time to do real social media marketing. Okay. Real marketing, not just posting videos, but strategic posts, strategic DMs, things like that. Okay. So I schedule the big rocks first. Okay. If it helps you to stick with a half hour to an hour to an hour and a half at first for each of your activities, go for it. Okay. But your most important jobs, your business generating activities have to go first. Your big rocks go first. Okay. Then you do your pebbles, then your water, or pebbles, then your sand, then your water. Okay. Then the sand and the water gets filled in whenever you can. Okay. And don't forget to put things like driving time. Okay. If you're going to a closing or you have to drive to listings or a meeting or something, you got to make in the drive time. Okay. And you'll be surprised at how much time you spend driving on certain times. Okay. The third technique is to batch things. Okay. If replying back to emails can be done all at once, it should take maybe 15-30 minutes. Okay. Calling people back. What is wrong with setting an hour 3 times a day of just calling people that called you? Hey, it's Paula. I see you called me an hour ago. How can I help you out? And then here's another really awesome trick. This I got from another manager once. You can your voicemail can say, "Hey, this is Paula Huhn with Funding American Mortgage. I'm not available to take your call right now. However, I will be returning all messages between the hours of 11 and 12, 2 to 3, and 5 to 6. You're letting them know when you're going to call them back. If it's an emergency, please send me a text or reach out to someone on my team. Right? Now they're sending you a text. What's important? There you go. Right? Meetings. If you're a leader, if you're a team leader and you have people on your team and you want to do one-to-ones with them, please don't say, when do you want to have your one-to-one? You tell them, I'm doing one-to-ones on Fridays. They're going to be between the hours of 11 and 3. Which half-hour bucket do you want? Or whatever it is. You tell them when to schedule the appointment and do them all in the same day or do them in a batch. This way you're doing them back to back and then you're done. Okay. So basically what that does, it's minimizing your context switching, which is how you transition from one task to another. Believe it or not, guys, that transition time can cost up to 40% of your time. So think about that. It's really important. And finally, tip number 4, include buffer time. Okay. Add 15 minutes before your meetings. Okay. That's your going to the bathroom time, getting a glass of water, getting a cup of coffee, walking around. Okay. Getting up out of your desk and just walking. All right. Give yourself that buffer time in between tasks so you get that mental reset. Okay. So your calendar should be a strategic tool, not just a meeting tracker. When you proactively design your day, you shift from reactive to intentional work, which we all want to be. We want to feel like we owned and won our day. And this is what's going to help. Okay. Protecting your boundaries, right? Setting your schedule is a boundary. And here is how you protect it. You have your digital boundaries. Like I said, batch your email checking to 2 to 3 designated times per day. You don't have to live by your email. Turn the notifications off. Turn them off. You don't need to be notified every single time you get an email alert that there's a sale or a title company sent me email. Great. Now you're wasting time looking at it when it wasn't even for you. It was for the lender. They just copied you on it. Okay. Use do not disturb modes. Okay, when you really need to focus, if you really need to focus, use your D&D. Okay, use that time to say, no, sorry, can't focus right now. Here's when I will respond back, and remove those notifications. That is such a great thing for me, is when I turned off literally almost every single notification on my phone, all the things. Okay. And the other benefit that I did is I have an iPhone, so Apple, so I did family screen time blocks of all my social media. So I can't go on social media during certain hours during the day. Okay. And I limit my usage to a certain amount of time per day. Then I'm allowed to just randomly scroll. And that helps. Okay. Interpersonal boundaries. Communicate your focus periods to team members. Guys, it's all about communication. Let people, if you set your boundaries to your partners, they will respect it. They will understand it. Create signal systems for when interruptions are acceptable, right? So, for example, if you're in an office, set the expectation if the door's closed, please don't come knocking. The door's open, feel free to come in, right? You can be silly. You can set up this is showing my age, but the Peanuts cartoon with Lucy, the doctor is in, doctor's out, right? Practice saying not now without guilt. This is so powerful. Can I do this? Not now, but I can, blah, blah, blah. I started doing this again. I work from home a lot. I started doing this with my children. Can you? Not now. Not now, but this is when I can do it. And you setting that stage, and guess what? That eventually turns into a task I don't even need to worry about because they figure it out on their own. Okay. Now you have your mental boundaries, right? Distinguish between your urgency and importance. Distinguish between this has to get done right now to this has to be done by the end of the day to this has to be done by tomorrow, right? Use that focus funnel to really identify the importance. A lot of times people like to shove their emergencies onto you. You have control on whether you choose to accept it. Okay. Schedule worry time to contain anxious thoughts. Journal. It's one of my things that I am working on. It does help me when I start my day after I journal for 10 minutes. You just need 10 minutes a day. Get all the weird thoughts out of your head, get them into your journal, and then you can move on and you're ready. And you might surprise yourself and come up with a great creative idea that you get excited about. Okay? Journal. If you can journal multiple times a day, do that as well. That's also equally powerful. So again, you can take out anything you're upset about or you have anxiety about or anything, journal, get it out, and then you can move on. Saying no to what doesn't matter is saying yes to what does. Okay. The power of intentional presence. This again is about being focused. Okay. Removing your distractions. Don't let every notification derail your focus. Okay. It takes 23 minutes to fully regain concentration after an interruption. Okay. When you're in your zone, and you're locked in, don't you hate it when you get distracted? You're almost like, no, go away. And you have to stay focused, right? 23 minutes you waste having to get back into that zone again, if you can get into it at all. Okay. So try this. Create visual signals in your workspace that indicate your availability. Red, yellow, green, whatever it is. Doctor's in sign, door shut, door open, whatever it is you need to do. Figure out a system and let the people around you know. When you're at home, model healthy boundaries for your family. Okay. When you're present, be present. When you're eating dinner with your family, don't have your phone on or turn it upside down. Okay. When you're working, work with clear start and end times. Okay. Tell them, okay, I'm working from this time to this time. After that, you can bug me, right? They know I'm working from this time to this time. They know they still interrupt me, but you get the idea. So establish tech-free zones or hours to create space for genuine connection. Again, at dinner table, you may say, look, guys, no more cell phones at the dinner table. We'll just have conversations. So the quality of your time matters more than the quantity. Okay. 5 minutes of full presence creates more impact than an hour of divided attention. Okay. That is powerful. Okay. Here are some traps to avoid: the urgency of addiction, constantly responding to emergencies, create an adrenaline dependency, right? It prevents strategic work, right? So every time someone calls, oh my gosh, a client needs to go see a house, and you create this emergency. Oh no, the disclosures they had, they still haven't signed their disclosures that were only sent out 20 minutes ago. What do I do? Right? Don't do that. Okay. Calm yourself. Perfection paralysis, waiting for perfection conditions, perfect conditions, or overthinking small details. Done is better than perfect. It's one of my favorite sayings. Done is better than perfect. Sometimes you just got to get it out. Sometimes you just got to do it. Okay. Fix it later. There was a great image I saw the other day. It was online. The top one was a circle that was just has a little bit not filled in. Like it was like just not connected. And then the bottom was a perfect circle, right? You can fix it later, right? Done is better than perfect. The multitasking myth. Research shows multitasking reduces productivity by up to 40% and increases errors by 50%. Okay. You want to be perfect? Stop multitasking. Okay. And the just one more loop. Adding just one more thing before your transitions creates chronic lateness and stress. Okay. So the average person spends 5 years of their life on email, 7 years trying to sleep. How we allocate our time is how we allocate our life. Okay, so this week, here's some tricks. This week, track every minute of your workday for 5 consecutive days. No estimating, use a timer or an app for accuracy. This month, implement the focus funnel for all incoming requests. Start with eliminating 3 low value activities from your schedule. And this quarter, master time blocking by designing your ideal work template. Protect your boundaries with confidence. Remember, small daily improvements compound into remarkable results. A 1% daily improvement in how you manage your time will make you 37 times better in a year. You have exactly the same number of hours per day as every successful person who came before you. The difference isn't time, it's strategy. Thank you very much. If you would like to do a one-to-one session with me and have me look at your current time management, help you individually work out a time management strategy, task strategy, if you want to go dive into the focus funnel more or time blocking more, I'm more than happy to do that. Just reach out to me, email me, contact me, DM me. You can find me on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Threads, but at Paula Loves Lending. So I'm everywhere. So go ahead, reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help you expand your business, take control of your business, and make sure that you're not stressing yourself out by doing things you don't have to do. Take control of your business today, and I will see you on the next webinar.